COVID-19 has been disruptive to the world beyond many people's belief, but it is here. And what do we need to do to make sure we get through this sanely, even with some appreciation of some of the things that maybe we had ignored in the past? But then also, just as important, how do we emerge stronger, smarter, and set the world up, position it for future generations so it is productive? So with me, somebody behind an effort to do this is Maru Patel, and who is the founder, chairman of letsbeatcoronavirus.org. So Maru, great to see you again. I mean, I've seen you New York and Malta and all this, and it's great to talk to you.
Absolutely. Always great to see you, Jane.
Yeah, and I'm really happy that to be a part of this website that you started. And could you just tell me kind of what is the purpose? Let's beat coronavirus.org.
Yeah. Okay, so the Let's Beat Coronavirus.org initiative started when I came back from Miami, which was third week of January. So, you know, in late January, everyone heard there was some sort of virus around in China. And immediately, you know, alarm bells went ringing in my head. And I said, and you know, I travel a lot, like almost 100 flights in 7 months I did, you know. And I said, this is serious. Can you imagine the number of people traveling? If it's anything to do with how SARS was, this will get ugly. So I said, let's do something. And having been through that and the .com era and the property boom and the bust, the financial crisis, I said, this thing's going to have a huge impact. And I looked at the lessons. And the people who got affected over there was people losing jobs, people couldn't pay mortgages, people becoming homeless. All these things went through my mind. And I said, so, wow, how can I help? So it started with how can I help? And I said, what's the value add? So I said, I know loads of people in the business from technology side through to standard bricks and mortar work. And I said, I've got like 3 odd decades worth of experience. How can I help? And the answer came to me. So in the late 90s, when I was part of the .com era, with Sun Microsystems, with Java and all that, which you know, I said, we were talking about everyone should be digital, everyone should be online, everyone should have, you know, like what we are all doing now, Zoom. But I said, with this virus, this will become a norm. So me as a technology person for, you know, more than 2.5 decades worth of experience, I said, why don't I help people go through a digital transformation, no matter what type of business it is. So all that vision work that I was talking about in the 90s, I said, people don't have a choice, but they've got to do it now. So that's how it started.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, and we're more reliant on technology now than ever before, which is crazy. Like 6 months ago, I would have thought, how can we become more reliant? But here we are. I mean, I'm in New York, you're in Romania, we're talking on Zoom. I mean, it's kind of amazing. So you really think that technology can kind of help us emerge from this stronger, more globally? I mean, because it just feels like, I don't know what it's like where you are, but in the US, I mean,
no, it's the same everywhere. It's the same everywhere. So it's the same everywhere.
They're angry about this. They're angry about the job losses. It seems to be the same kind of trend that we've seen for so long, is that the big are getting bigger. So Amazon is huge now. Walmart was allowed to stay open while tiny retailers had to close. I mean, there's all these things that have happened over the past 8 weeks that have really made it hard to be, you know, the small guy. So, you know,
yeah, so even the small guys. So what my challenge is, and we're going to start a Let's Beat Coronavirus Take the Challenge initiative very soon, is, again, coming back to the 90s, when we were preaching and I was evangelizing, everyone should be online, and we used to constantly say, we need to put a dot in .com, no matter what business it is. So in that, I look at the people who will get hurt most are the small, medium-sized businesses, purely because of cash flow, purely because they haven't got a clue. Whilst it's natural for me to, you know, do anything from, you know, websites to Zooms to technology implementations to strategy stuff to e-commerce sites. I do these things in my sleep and know how to do these visionary things. there are millions and millions of people who haven't got a clue where to even start. You know, you'll be surprised how many people don't even know how to initiate and create a Zoom link, for example. Yet, if you think about it, if you're at home, you have to communicate. So in the future, I see, you know, you've given the standard, the .com ones that, you know, the Amazons and the Walmarts, but in the day when even these didn't exist, we used to tell even Toys R Us and people like that, if you don't go online, you will die. And look what's happened to them back in your own yard, right? So now what I'm saying is, I don't care what type of a business you are, there are ways you can increase your footprint and your reach from home and not touch people. I'll give you some simple examples.
Okay.
I've got some friends who are mechanics, okay? He says, yeah, but look, we have to fix car, we have to repair it and touch it and do all these things. I said, here's a solution for you. Can you imagine putting what we call an IoT device, yeah, onto their diagnostic panel, which is underneath the car, which every person, when they go to a garage, instead of you going to a garage and drinking the shitty coffee, sorry, in their reception, in their reception, you can just remotely be connected to the service center who is in your vicinity. They will log in. You can go through the mobile. With the mobile app, we say that, look at the status of your car. So you've got, I don't know, tire pressure or an oil or an engine system or something wrong, and you could normally fix this remotely. Did you know that? Okay. So there are systems available where they just connect to a service provider, and the service provider will look at it remotely and either fix the alarm bells or basic things, or look at even preemptive maintenance. So things like, before you break down, there will be some things in the diagnostics that will trigger out and say, you need a maintenance, you need this check or that check, this is about to fail, come in, fix it. Or we have a mobile service unit in your nearest vicinity, will come there and fix it. So you don't have to waste time going out and drinking that rubbish coffee and waiting and wasting all that time. And so the world is going to change. And the same, you can think about doctors doing remote consultancies. I mean, there are now scenarios using AI and robotics. People are even doing operations with consultants in the other part of the world. So no matter what business you are, you can have a digital transformation in that business. What this has done, what COVID-19's done, it's forcing people to do it, or they die themselves in terms of business. So now it's forcing them to do that. So my challenge is, let's help people with really creative, innovative ways, you know, using all the latest technology from all the things you hear with blockchain, digital monies, and all of that, to get going again and just redistribute the work through different skills.
Okay, so if somebody has a business, my husband runs a gym. And he's been closed down for 8 weeks, although he's doing workouts on Skype, and he hates them. He's like, he likes that personal attention, but he's, you know, he's trying to survive, right? And as a business, things open up. So where would somebody like him who has
a classic example,
right?
Classic.
I mean, and somebody who's very like got a job like that, that's very kind of dependent on people. How could they go to letsbeatcoronavirus.org and get started learning a skill? Where do they go?
Okay. So here's my view. So anyone who does yoga, Pilates, gyms, all of that, here's my vision of where I see that business going. So where in a gym you have that pump up motivational music, you put that on as a background. You create a Zoom where you are doing one-on-one, you do 1 to 10, 1 to 20, 1 to 100 if you want. And you create that background music, and you have your studio where you are individually looking at the people and supervising them, and actually physically looking there on your screen. He's not doing it properly, he's not doing, or she's not doing this, and coaching and mentoring it at a one-to-many basis rather than one-to-one. Of course, you can even do one-to-one, you know, obviously for the high-paying clients, but you can do a one-to-many reach. Here's the next level he should do. He should do several videos and have his own channel and YouTube channel. And believe me, if he gets popular and he gets some great testimonials from celebs or anyone that he's made big difference to, he will have an alternative revenue stream just through YouTube, where people will pay adverts on there and he will get another revenue stream. So he's got to think out of the box how the revenue model will work now.
Well, and I even thought, there's a way to use blockchain to, like you mentioned, the car example, to collect data on a car. And so you can kind of know, what the problems are, that it's all been transparent, it's all efficient. I mean, now, so I guess the last question then, Maru, is where does somebody go to just start to learn about this stuff? Because these are concepts that are very early in technology. A lot of people, they're experts at their own field. They don't know how to do blockchain or whatever. So where do they go to start to learn?
Absolutely. So this is what we are trying to do with our Let's Beat Coronavirus movement. So where people have certain basic challenges, for want of a better word, okay? So they might say, I have X, Y, and Z type of business. Where can I take it going online? So, the mechanic thing was just someone calling me and I said, this is what you need. By the way, we are going to develop it now. So we've gone into a different partnership and we're actually going to develop it for him. Okay. But that goes even a longer way, because my vision now is we connected to the insurance companies, we connected to various other service providers and even car sales. So now that the car is serviced properly, it hasn't been tampered with, no one's messed around with its mileage and clock, all the basics about the car on the blockchain, and it cannot be rewritten because it's on the blockchain. So you don't get people fiddling their mileage or their service book records and things like this. So now you're buying an assured car. So that's an even additional service, that you have an approved car from the same scenario. So obviously people like us who are helping, so we're going to do lots of free videos and advice on, if you're this type of business, this is the kind of things you can do as a vision. If you're that type of business, we are going to do this. The next thing I said is we're doing a challenge. So the way to move it, I'm going to challenge people in this sort of field where I have hundreds of people in my connection, as you know, who are visionaries, who are technology experts. And I'll say, okay, my challenge to you for Let's Beat Coronavirus is go and help 1 or 2 people transition onto an online thing and do it globally. And he does 2 or 3, he does 2 or 3, he does 2 or 3. And this is kind of like a thing giving back to community, because if you think about it, even in this lockdown, technology is the thing that's helped. Imagine if the technology people were not there to sort out the internets, we would all be dead. Same thing with mobile, same thing with the Zooms, same thing with websites, same things with payment systems, same thing with credit hopping. All of these things need technology. If technology did not have a place in the world going forward at the heart of the business, this would be a real disaster then, right?
Oh my gosh. What would we do? I mean, how would we?
Can you imagine?
I love your idea of help 2 people, 2-3 people make the transition. That thing's manageable, but yet it makes a difference. Manageable. So I love that. So if somebody goes to letsbeatcoronavirus.org, they can just kind of get some preliminary information, figure out what to do next.
And register. And register.
Okay.
And then just reach out. And then if we have someone who can tie up with that person with his skill or something, by all means, that's how we'll help them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maru, for what you're doing.
And you for the media. And you for the media.
And I hope to see you in person again soon.
Big hugs. And you as well.
Thank you.
Bye.
But the beat goes on, da-da-dum, da-dum-dum. You better lose yourself.